Welcome to episode 511 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
How you doing, fellas?
Great.
Tigers got 2 points in the weekend, Glenny. Life is good.
Fuck, the internet was still all over them, though. The Tigers were still a big story of the weekend. There's a lot of fucking memes and a lot of chat. Just can't get away from them.
Well, they get the clicks.
They do.
They drive engagement, Glenny.
Yes.
You just got to accept that. It's like a, whereas it might not be like, what you would consider like an, call it like an alpha club or big club moves, but it's still like important, vital, in fact.
That's it.
They're not the brains of the competition. They're probably not even the hearts of the competition, but I mean, they like
may well be the arsehole of the competition, though.
Well, they're like the skin, knowing they're important.
Tell you,
they're the blood or something.
Everybody needs a sphincter. You've got to scissor your turds, and it's got to close when you're swimming so you don't fill up with water. Very important.
Yeah, okay, you've sold me. That's always Tigers. The sphincter of the NRL. All right. Is there anything you want to go through before we get into the recaps for the games from round 7?
No, because amazingly, the quality of footy out there at the moment is taking all of the media space.
True.
So when there's nothing for them to get hyped up or for dumb shits on social media to fucking crusade about, a la the scores were too big or the margins were too great or anything like that. There's nothing now for the media to throw clickbait about, so they have to actually talk about the footy, which means there's no...
It's funny, they're actually also doing the crackdowns right.
Yeah.
Like they're not even cracking down to the point where people are going too mental about crackdowns.
Yeah.
So, I gotta say...
Volandis is back in the good books.
You're nailing it, fellas. TWiL might be having a break, and whoever the brains of the operation is, that's not being completely reactive and not fucking everything up and giving the media heaps to chew over.
Fuck yeah.
Kudos to you, faceless man or woman. Except for West Tigers, of course. I mean, they still find ways to fucking kick them no matter what time of thing. And I guess Jack Whiten's the other one too, but I mean, we'll talk about that. Hopefully something more eventuates on Wednesday, but that dude, if he can get that money from Canberra, particularly after the weekend...
Fuck yeah.
You can knock 300 grand off the asking price. Anyway, round 7 kicked off on Thursday night with the South Sydney Rabbitohs 36 defeating the Dolphins 14 at Suncorp Stadium. The Rabbitohs tries came through a double to Campbell Graham. Latrell Mitchell, Cody Walker, Isaiah Tass and Alex Johnston with tries. Latrell, 5 conversions and a penalty goal, defeating the Dolphins. Tries through Ian Nathan and Jeremy Marshall-King. Asako, 2 conversions and a penalty goal.
It was a bit of a shame that the score got away from the Dolphins towards the end, but pretty scary signs when the Rabbitohs switch it on. And I think the game was toing and froing a little bit, and I think the Dolphins were still in the contest right up until Kenny Bromwich's sin binning, and I think the Rabbitohs sensed a bit of blood in the water, and they really put the game to bed with a couple of quick tries, and the Dolphins couldn't slow them down from there, and the score blew out, which is probably it's obviously the first real, and it still wasn't even that, it's not like they put 50 on them or anything. I think the Dolphins just let it get away.
It looked like
towards
it was
the back end of the game
too, but
they clawed it back and continued to compete, which is becoming a bit of a hallmark of this Dolphins side, no matter who's in or out, which is a testament to obviously Bennett's coaching and the calibre of the character of the side, I should say. So, but the Rabbitohs, I think Campbell Graham again was massive for them. Obviously, Latrell, Cody.
Yep.
When they get it right, they're impressive.
So really, it was just a series of unfortunate events that got them into the position that led up to the Kenny Bromwich situation, because that first try where Graham pushed over the guy, the defender, that was very fucking... He was very lucky that wasn't a penalty the other way.
Exactly.
And then they scored that bullshit try down the left, which was just fucking arse. And then that was back-to-back, bang, bang. And then Kenny Bromwich decided that, okay, it's time to lift the guys. So I'm going to fucking put a shot on. and he just got it wrong.
Yeah.
And then that was that. And then they didn't need that 10 minutes down a man, and that was the end of it.
That's it. The Dolphins are firmly that team that, and the important phrase here is all things being equal, can match it with a lot of teams in the NRL.
Yeah.
But you take that all things being equal out, and it hurts them fucking terribly.
Yeah.
So that period was something they were just never going to come back from. Campbell Graham again, a couple of little mishaps in his game that haven't been there earlier this season. But still, I would suggest the form centre, like true positional centre.
So much so that the Origin talk is centred around him again, and I don't know.
Oh, well, there was that winger for fucking Canterbury had a blinder of a game, and there was a couple of articles about that.
Mm.
But again, I think people are wisening up, and when the replies to that article is, "Fuck off, idiots! One great game doesn't make you an Origin bolter."
Mm. Well, I think New South Wales they're going to shoehorn between Teddy, Turbo, Latrell. They've got an embarrassment of riches. Yeah. And I think Freddie's probably the kind of guy that wants to find room for all of them,
Freddie's also the fucking weak link in that side.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned embarrassment of riches. Only Freddie could find a way to fuck them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and not win 10 series a row with those fucking guys in their prime.
Did we see all see Joey put fucking dumb cunt Paul Gallen in his place?
No.
What did he do?
I didn't.
So Paul Gallen was suggesting that you play Tommy on the wing in Origin. And so someone's asked Joey about that and said, Paul Gallen suggested that, and before they even finished the sentence, he's gone, fucking no. Just no. He's like, he played in the centres, was it year before that, and he won player of the series in the centres. Yeah. Why? Why are you going to fucking... He said, your wingers play like an extra prop in Origin.
Yep.
Why are you giving him fucking bash work?
Yeah, exactly.
Idiots. So that was...
And I think that's part of Freddie's problems of it as well. He's just you don't have to overcomplicate this thing. You got some of the fucking best players in the competition at your disposal at the moment.
Yeah.
Generationally, the pendulum has swung to New South Wales' favour. Just as it was swung in Queensland's favour during their dynasty period. And at the moment, he should be 5 in a row, but he's fucking fucked them up with trying to be clever with selections or non-selections and ridiculous.
That's
anyway.
It. Anything else you want to say on that game?
No.
What were the socials like that for our dear Dolphins friends? They're all fucking. They're just proving to be a nice measured fan base. These Dolphins people. David. Great first half, shit second half. Outplayed by a better team. Ill discipline cost us a big margin. Liam. So it felt like the Dolphins were just starting to get the ascendancy back when Bromwich got sent. Was all over after that. Thomas. He said it's hard to be super positive. A Dolphins team with half a fin left still gave us a run. They got that last nub binned. We haven't beaten any actual contenders for the title yet this season. And playing like this, we won't. I want to see us beat someone solid before I get excited. Anthony, he said we'll get the Japanese hooked on the game with that much dolphin blood in the water. There you go.
I'm surprised it's taking that much. I'm surprised it's taking that long in the season to start getting those sorts of comments. Guess people are just holding on to and waiting for a flogging. The Sharkies 22 defeated the Roosters 12 at Reclaim Australia Stadium, and the Sharkies 22 points came through tries to Moylan, the Mutt, Blake Brayley and Britton Nakora. Nico, 2 conversions from 4 attempts and a penalty goal. The Roosters, their tries came through Egan Butcher and Brandon Smith, with Sam Walker converting both of his opportunities.
Well controlled from Nico Hines throughout, I thought. They say the sign of the great players is that they make their teammates better. And for me, Brayley has gone to another level playing with Nico. He's had raps on him since he came into first grade, but he looks like he has more time and he's more selective with his options, and more often than not he takes the right one. And the way Hines is playing and the way he drags those other players along, and the post-match interview he said, they were disappointed in that game against the Warriors a week ago, and they wanted to come out in front of their home fans and you know, put on the type of performance that the fans deserved, which, you know, I guess from a Sharks player, he meant they deserved something good, but anyone else would probably beg to differ. But, you know, they put in a really solid workmanlike effort and took advantage of their opportunities and were quite measured and controlled. It was impressive, especially against the Roosters.
Yeah, definitely. I think, though, that the operative word that you've used, Glennie, is control. And that's where the Roosters are falling down. A lot of people have said that their issue with them is their depth. And that's definitely a factor, like you've mentioned a bunch of times. The guys who used to be a, you know, inverted commas, solid bench for them are now starters. And if you were only a solid bench, now you're a starter. Who's replaced you on the bench? My issue with the Roosters in tough games like this is leadership. And they're going to get those nights where Two Dads and Cheese get in there and lift the team. But that works in bursts. That there might be a 10-minute burst where it'll let them get some ascendancy, and then if the team can continue with that momentum, fair enough, it might hold them well in a game. But when they actually need somebody for an extended period of the game to control the direction the team goes in, to do that crucial role, where the best organisers in the competition do it, and this is the Reynolds, the Clearys, those guys, Hughes and Munster as well. I'm going to control 18 tackles. So it's not just this set I'm worried about. It's this set. It's where they start theirs, and then our next one as well. You know, and I don't think the Roosters have that. Walker's not that guy yet, and I don't think Keary's that guy either. I think he's still way too fragile. He hasn't been himself since he's come back, and fucking rightfully so. You know, a strong breeze can make you forget your family. But I don't think the Roosters have enough nous when it comes to someone controlling the game for them.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that two of the hotter heads in their side ensured that they finished the game with 11 players.
Yeah,
and Victor Radley.
It's beyond a joke now.
History is proving me right.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Wait, yeah, go for it. What do you want to talk about?
Well,
him being a liability.
The controversy around how it happened.
Yep.
And giving an intentional penalty, just the vibe is so they could go back and have a captain's challenge. And then, because Robbo was going off in his press conference, that he believes that the rule was incorrectly adjudicated and they should have been given the ability to have a look at it, to use a captain's challenge.
Okay.
Now,
well, I mean, yeah.
To me, that fucking goes against everything I believe in, and the fact that he's just sitting there and saying it so openly, in the fact that there's a part of the rules that I don't agree with, so we weren't able to use a captain's challenge, so one of my players intentionally gave away a penalty so that we could have a captain's challenge, and I think that's okay.
Yeah. What was that game? Wasn't it last year something happened? Or the year before, so it was like a similar situation where they gave away a penalty on purpose to.
It was a para game, wasn't it?
I cannot fucking remember for the life of me, but yeah, I'm sure it's happened before though.
Yeah.
But yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you're going to give away a penalty on purpose to try and give yourself a break in play so you can ask for a captain's challenge, maybe make it someone like Sam Walker who's not a fucking germ and doesn't have massive massive fucking list of crimes in his past that give him that sort of that kind of glare from the referee that guys like Jaria Hargraves probably has as well, and players like that. So
100%.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that one, Galeni?
No, that's it for me.
Lovely. Jared, you said Radley sin bin, cheese in the bin. The only grub missing was Two Dads. Jason said, this is what happens when you replace your reputation for being calm and level-headed in any situation with JWH, Lodge, Radley, and Cheese. There you go. Colin, he said, no connection in the Roosters' spine. Makes for a crippled team. At Les Trade on Twitter said, Jackson Paulo looking better each week. Who knew the missing piece of his game was not getting death threats from his own fans? And Sean, he said, I'm crushing the footy tipping comp at the moment. Lucky my 9-year-old daughter is choosing my tips. Well, there you go. This
Quality.
was a hard one to pick.
This week was a fairly easy. This was a fairly easy week for tips. At least according to my fucking score, must have been easy. Right, moving on to the mighty Manly Seags Eagles 18 defeated the Melbourne Storm 8.
Did you just say Seags Eagles?
He sure did.
Yeah, I sure did.
That's their new name now forever.
Yeah.
The Seags Eagles 18 tries to Tommy Turbo and Lachlan Croker, Daly 2 conversions and 3 penalty goals. The Storm's 8 a try to William Warbrick and 2 penalty goals to Jonah Pezzett. And Glennie, do you want to go first to get the level-headed stuff out of the way? Because I can go if I need to.
Oh no, I don't think the Storm were there 100% for the contest, and I think Manly were, which surprised me a little bit. I was disappointed with Munster. We spoke about lessening that 5'8" role to put him into fullback, and I think it probably rang true. He just was a little bit out of his depth in certain areas and probably tried a little bit too hard as the game wore on. I'll let you talk about Manly, but I think it come down to Melbourne weren't physically up for the contest. And when they realised that Manly were, I think they mentally checked out. I don't think they really stepped up to take the game to Manly when they realised that it was going to be a physical contest, which is surprising for me for a Melbourne side.
Well, I think the 3 guys like Kamakamika and Loiero, they just tried to fucking grub it to get through that, with trying to dog shots and late shots and things like that. And
that's exactly it.
So
yeah, I think way too much. And there was a comment to this effect later on, but Melbourne went into it looking to do a battle of brookie shit and do fucking dirty shit to get things going, and didn't concentrate enough on actually playing footy.
Yeah. Whereas Manly, their lead up was all about battle of brookie internally, and they got some of the old guys like Watmo and Glenn Stewart and stuff in there through the week to chat to the guys, but they didn't they didn't cross the line. They just went out there hard and belled the fuck out like Melbourne. I haven't seen Melbourne have the fuck beaten out of them like that for quite some time. Physically on a field, which was fucking great. I mean, this Paseka's second stint when he comes back on, he has a long first stint for the first half. And when he comes back on the middle of the second half, fuck, he's been damaging. And we finally got the call back for Toff Sipley, and who's been playing a great and being like a leader to Blacktown this season before he's got his chance again. And he was fucking amazing. Like he got something like 160, 170 meters off the bench, which was, off about, probably 15 runs or something, which was just fucking tremendous as well. And the way that he was winding up the crowd as well was fucking great to see. And potentially, if he can stay on the field, there's a potential new fucking cult hero in Ray Tuamalo Vega, who has had, this was maybe his 3rd chance, I think, that he's had at first grade. And this is the one where he showed that he's up to it. And not only is he up to it in a game like this, he's a fucking animal, and he just needs just a little bit of fucking molding just to take him 5% back towards the line, and without actually losing the sort of the Matai or Tafua sort of hit nature that he seems to naturally have, because he was fucking hype, and I mean he pulled off some big plays and he pulled off some big hits, and he didn't mind carrying on with it afterwards as well and letting them know they were fucked. Hamoli again, still fucking, like, he's had most games this season, he's had a huge hit where he's just nearly killed a guy. Fucking Olam, one of the hardest guys to kill in the comp too, I'd imagine. Yeah,
but that was impressive. The timing of
belted.
The timing of both players for that tackle, when you actually saw the shot from behind them as Olam was running the ball, it was almost perfectly coordinated. The way that they dropped low to get their shoulders and a shoulder each side on his ribs. was impressive, and it really set the tone.
Yeah, and Daly's fucking like footwork, making line breaks. Like he was carving them in the first sort of 10 minutes of the game. Carved them twice down the right hand side. Saab's looking great. Like since he put on all of that size in the time off when he was rehabbing the knee injury, he's not getting monstered anymore. Like he's not getting pushed back when he takes the ball, and he's starting to fucking put hits on people and shit as well, which is great. And
and there was zero hesitation defensively for him as well.
Like you're just completely disregarding the Penrith game the week before when he got absolutely fucking manhandled.
No, he didn't.
But no,
that's
keep
the
going.
thing. No, he didn't.
But he
actually stopped all the tries that Morgan Harper tried to let in down that side.
Do you know that
that
game was televised, so other people saw
it?
it?
Yeah, everyone saw it, and you can go back and watch the fucking game tape.
You certainly can. I do. I jerked off to it 3 times today.
You barely watch fucking. You watch the fucking KO mini and fucking look at the fucking score sheet, and then you go over to fucking then you go to Panthers Twitter and fucking beat off over people over those fucking doorknobs fucking retards.
No one watches porno for the storylines.
But yeah, we can keep going over old shit. And as it turns out, I mean, that game was obviously, clearly the anomaly based on, multiple fucking golden point extra time games and a tired team. And they got a good rest and they came out and they fucking put it on the Storm. And you got to love it, especially when the media through the week was, this, Battle of Brookie shit. So it's all, I love it when it's like a hyped game and they fucking rise to the occasion. And a special shout out to William Warbrick from the Melbourne Storm, who a friend was on a flight up from Melbourne to Sydney through the week when the Storm players were coming up, and he's a Manly fan, and he sort of said, look, he was sort of joking with him, like go easy on us or whatever, and Warbrick was saying with great confidence that he was going to score a fucking hat trick down that side, this week, and how'd that work out for you, bitch? Hold fucking Vegas pocket, and shut your damn mouth, bitch. And Munster finally that puts to bed forever the chat that perhaps his better position is fullback than his best position is 5'8", and Craig Bellamy was fucking thoroughly outcoached.
The only people having those conversations also sit down and discuss the fucking good points of both Lord of the Rings movies and Harry Potter movies. So only fuckheads have those conversations.
Oh, you sound like turfs.
What's that?
Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Like Harry Potter, you can't. Yeah, like the kids aren't allowed to enjoy Harry Potter anymore because J.K. hates trans.
Oh, does she?
Well, I don't know if she hates him.
There you go.
Look, I'm not prepared if she hates him from the comments I've seen, but she hates him. It's all about the audience reception, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
all I know, Harry Potter is magic Star Wars.
Look, essentially it is, and you can definitely weave it into that sort of archetype sort of thing.
Fuck me, Dad! I didn't think I could get any more bored than I was listening to you talk about Manly, and now we're talking about Harry Potter and fucking Star Wars. Jesus fucking Christ!
Two movie franchises of which you haven't fucking seen a minute.
Of course I have. I've seen all the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, what happens?
And he saw it reenacted as a one-man show by the singer of Counting Crows.
And it was only like, it was literally like a one scene fucking play that ran for exactly whatever the fucking length of All Star by Smash Mouth is.
Oh, fucking hell. Let's go to the socials for this fucking game.
Are you glad you spoke up now, Glennie?
Yeah, always.
Was it worth it?
Fucking bring it on, cunt. Whatever.
Liam, he said Aaron Woods, undefeated as a Sea Zeeble.
He's actually 0-2 and 0-2 at Blacktown.
There you go.
Sorry, 2-0 at Blacktown, 1-0 at Manly. 2-2, 1-1. So he's fucking killing it. And look, I forgot all about Woodsy. He did have one of those fucking things like really early when he first came on.
In spite of Aaron Woods.
Well, no, he did. He had one of those Woodsy things where he was trying to do the quick play, the ball, and fucking the ball come out, and he was like trying to say it was. The thing is, it's one of those ones where, the ball did get knocked out, but it's your job to fucking actually secure it and get up and play the ball properly and stop trying to milk a fucking penalty, you idiot, especially when you're like 20 metres out from your fucking own try line. But the dude, he almost had the fucking perfect fucking night out. So he had that one situation where he sort of stripped Hughes, I think it was, which almost resulted in a try. And then he had that other situation where he was actually on the end of a kick and just fractionally missed getting to the ball before Hughes could sort of do a really bodgy and lucky, version of grounding it. So he almost finished up being a 2-try hero. But look, Woodsy, you didn't lose us the game, and if I can say anything about you, I can say that you didn't lose us the game. So keep doing that. Keep not losing us games.
There you go. Jamie said didn't even need to get out of first gear to flog those grubs.
I like you,
Bennett,
Jamie.
He said, is there a better way to kick off the weekend? I think not. And Kurt, the resident sensible Melbourne fan, he said, only positive from this game is it finally puts the narrative by Nufty Storm Facebook groups put Munster at fullback to rest, and they can return to carrying on about the jersey not being purple enough. Our spine was completely out of sync. However, my main concern, is just how outdated our forward pack is compared to the rest of the comp. As much as Jake King plays with guts and heart, unfortunately, being a workhorse just doesn't cut it for a 13 anymore. Radley, no brains or skill. Lynn, on Twitter, she said, Manly played with Mongrel. We've been missing that for a long time. And how ugly were the Storm jerseys? So that was a lovely segue.
I got to say, they didn't strike me as being, particularly. Honestly, I didn't even I couldn't even recall a detail about them. Such was my interest in their jersey.
Our mate Bega Rod, down in Bega, funnily enough, he said to this game, not a fan of the way refs are interpreting the hip drop. If play with the ball is still fighting to move forward, the tackler from behind will almost always land on their legs. Need to remove the defensive player dropping down for a stationary attacker as second or third man in. Have you guys got a go on how they're interpreting hip drops?
Yeah, I don't think that a guy if a player is continuing fighting to move forward, I don't think it's at all like a guarantee or a likelihood that the player's going to land on their legs, because the way that when they're talking about hip drops, it's when the player's got the guy around the waist and then pulls him back down and lands on his legs while he's pulling him backwards. I mean, if you're tackling a guy from behind and letting him fall forward, there's no hip drop. There's no hip drop or any. It's only when you're pulling the guy down backwards and his legs get tangled up under you when you do it.
Yeah.
And some of those aren't, technically hip drops, but it's obviously become an issue, like injury wise. And so it's like crusher tackles. If the guy is backing into the tackle and you've got your shoulder behind his head and sort of pushing forward as he's going down, you're getting penalised whether you're meant to do it or anything. So now players know when they've got the arm wrapped around the neck or the head, they let their head pop through.
Yeah.
So as to avoid being penalised for, and this will be the same thing. The players will just figure out we've got to do the thing so our we're positioned bodily in a way that we're not going to land that way that gets us penalised.
And this is it. I think the next thing that the NRL need to do is come out and be very clear with wording, because that was the best thing when it came with head highs.
Yeah,
that they came out and said that a head high is two of these three things. Was it like high, late, and forceful?
Yeah.
That was the three things. So it always has to be high.
Yeah.
But then it was also, if it's late or forceful, then it was an extra egregious one. I think they just need to come up with some definitive terms for it. I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. That's all the socials on that one. Let's go.
Okay, so we move on to the Warriors 22 defeat the North Queensland Cowboys 14 in New Zealand. Mount Smart Stadium, the Warriors 22 tries to AFB, Kosi, Curran and Dylan Walker. Sean Johnson, 2 conversions from 4 attempts and a penalty goal. The Cowboys 14 tries to Murray Taulagi, Valentine Holmes, Ruben Cotter and Val with 1 conversion.
The Warriors were pretty impressive in front of a really raucous home crowd in full voice. They just kept coming, and the Cowboys, we've said it for a number of weeks now that they are still away off their best, and it's probably starting to get a little bit concerning. We might keep saying this for another month or two, that they're just off their best and things start getting out of reach.
Can I just interject and say today I saw that Taumalolo is looking 4 to 6 weeks on the sideline.
Yeah, okay.
So when it's like immediately related to what you just said then about the Cowboys not being at their best.
Yeah. And he's a guy that can get guys to come along with him, if you know what I mean. So without him in the side where they're already down from where they were, certainly last year, it's starting to get concerning, as I said. I don't think it's impossible for him to turn it around, but, injuries starting to come into it now. And
I think it's a massive worry that injury has so much impact on them, because a lot of their success last year came from a reduced reliance on him. He's obviously still going to be such a dominant fucking player, but they went from that Cowboys team, which like we're talking about right now. Oh, he's out? No chance. No one tips him. No chance. It's just absolutely heart and soul of their team. Gone. Whereas last year, they played without him for stretches, and they missed him, obviously. But it wasn't a death sentence for them.
Yeah, I think...
And they don't have that this year at all.
Yeah, I just think some of the other guys that really stepped up last year have probably, especially the younger guys, maybe a little bit of... No, I'm talking...
Tom Gilbert left.
I'm talking, guys like Cotter and blokes like that.
Everyone thought it was Ruben Cotter, but it was actually Tom Gilbert was the guy that should have got paid.
Yeah. So I just think...
Well, it's actually the Chad. I think the Chad and did. It's just not. It's not working this year like it
not,
was.
Not to the level it was.
We were surprised last year at how well it worked. And we were, fuck me, we were wrong. Cowboys are right.
Yep.
This year, the problem with this game was a pretty shit game, because both the teams were dropping the ball a lot.
Sure.
Yep.
But the Cowboys, the Warriors weren't bothered by the Cowboys' attack at all. There was because they didn't have any. There was no direction to it. There wasn't. There didn't look like there was a plan, and that's not the injuries or anything either. I mean, that's like those guys are all in place.
Yeah. I think the Warriors are. That's going to become quite a fortress again if they keep playing the way that they are. The crowd's turning up and in full voice, and it certainly come across on the TV. And Sean Johnson again had some quality moments in quality plays in big moments. And Josh Curran as well. I want to give him a rap. He's so consistent for them.
Right.
Certainly is. Anything else you want to say?
Social loot.
On that was our mate Carsten. He said, "I'm all for world hottening if these stupid islands sink into the sea where they belong. Just for playing afternoon games at Mount Scaffolding. Oh, and the game didn't deserve me getting out of bed at 6:30 a.m. King Levius.
Can I just say, I love it that a German who lives in Switzerland is making jokes about Kiwis being scaffolders. That's multicultural at its best, right there.
Fuck yeah. Levius, 2 from 2, you hillbilly fucks. Enjoy your shitty Queensland mid-strength beer on your flights back home. This mountain is our fortress in 2023. Hammers. Cowboys have so many plotters on their side, they're Melbourne North.
I like it. Get on board.
Gus. The best performance from the Cows all year, but still something missing. A big dominant front rower to get them on the front foot. Drink water at 70%, and they will be a different team when he hits 100. I'd be pissed if I was a Sharks fan watching Johnson run the show compared to what he did for them. Anyone know what they paid him? Can he and them keep it up? Clock start impressive as well. It's probably also worth pointing out that they were without Tamari Martin, who has been absolutely astronomical for them. Okay, so what has unleashed Sean Johnson, and how much should the Tigers pay for it?
Well, they had it in Webster.
A good coach.
Yeah,
and
he was already
that's
there.
The first part of your answer.
Yeah, a good coach that had previously been employed at the Tigers. So, good times.
Is it that Sean Johnson has been re-unleashed, not unleashed for the first time? Is that the issue? Because he was good at one stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had a fair... when he left the Warriors, he was on a dip. That dip continued in large part when he was at the Sharks, but he's got a new lease on life there, and you can only really put it down to Webster.
I'm so fucking happy that I was wrong on him, because I was ready to just put him down in that pile of the greatest things that never were. You know, that he never had his Benji Marshall, Wayne Bennett moment, where they turned around and said, well, look, actually no one fucking wants you. We'll take you, but you need to be thankful that we are. And without any of that shit happening to him, he's having a fucking resurgence. So I'm very happy about that. Next game, What do we got?
The Panthers 16 defeated the Knights 15 in Newcastle. The Panthers 16 came through tries to To'o and Salmon. What do we got? 1 conversion from 2 attempts to Cleary, 2 penalty goals to Cleary, 2 field goals to Cleary, defeating the Knights 15 tries to Tyson Gamble, Tyson Frizzell and Phoenix Crossland. A field goal to Tyson Gamble and 1 conversion to Lockie Miller, and he missed his only penalty goal, which is ultimately the story of the game.
Yeah. This is a really simple one. Penrith were sloppy with the ball. They didn't respect it and almost paid the price. However, when you are the greatest team in the history of competitive sports, you can play like absolute fucking dog flaps and still manage to jag wins like this against joke organisations such as the Newcastle Knights.
It really does underline just how much of a joke the Newcastle Knights are, really, and the fact that they led the game so well at half time, looked they're awful in the second half. Let's be real, but sort of pulled their shit together, with 3.5 minutes or 4 minutes to go to actually have the lead and give their fans like that second bite of hope, the sweet fucking juicy pie of hope, and then to have the fucking kicked out of their hands. It was special. I mean, like that. It fucking got me moist. I'll give you the tip.
The differences are in the tiny things around it, and one of the glaring ones is the speed at which Penrith played the game. They were fucking so slow across the park. Generally, their average play the ball speed is under 3 seconds. It was almost 4 for this game. So just across the park, they weren't as urgent in their play, and I think a lot of that comes down to what the Nine's doing. Appy, to his credit, would get guys up and playing the ball properly, and I really hope that the Mitch Kenny effect isn't starting to rub off on the actual play before the ball's even played. That would be a fucking travesty. It also seemed to be a couple of the younger guys that were making silly errors, pushing passes, just not taking simple options when they were the best ones. And so hopefully this turns into close enough to a loss, because we're not going to have those losses we need to have. We just don't lose. So unfortunately we're not lucky as clubs like Manly who can go out there and just so effortlessly lose games to palm off as what they have to have. We don't get to learn those lessons. So we have to somehow find a way to take the lessons of defeat, but in victory.
Can we play the Oscars music?
It's psychologically.
This is the fucking lowest point of the show right now.
The hardest point.
Like in the history,
for
511 episodes.
I just want to give up on this show. Can we just cut it now and never ever come back?
Yeah, do we need to finish this one first, Glennie, or can we just fucking just
No,
up here?
I'm happy to hit the fucking red button right now.
Eject it.
I don't even know if we need to fucking export the files or anything. Just get up and walk out and never come back. Burn the cunt to the ground.
And then the
fuck, we're still going.
The clutchest player in the history of rugby league just
missed
nailed.
2 field goals. 2 of the fucking worst field goals I've ever seen. You know what? This game actually probably should have ended at, 15 all after that field goal, and then it probably should have ended 17-15 from a penalty right in front afterward.
Yeah.
With Fitzgibbon, wherever the fuck it was, trailing through and smacking him. I mean, it was
all?
nothing, but it was still high and unnecessary.
It was high and late.
Yeah.
So when they talk about there's your criteria.
I mean, minimal contact, but still,
Yeah.
People get pinged for fucking minimal contact.
If that was any other time in the game, if that had been after a 5th tackle set, would have been called back for a penalty, 100%.
Yeah.
Because it was contact with the head, and it was late.
And maybe it just balanced out. Maybe it just balanced out from the Frizzell penalty that was bullshit. But
he had a fucking great game too, Frizzell.
He was fucking great. That line he ran to fucking score that easy try in the first half was, and just like the awareness to be there, for the quick. Crack.
I miss peak Frizzle. He was a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Like top 3 Origin pick Frizzle. He was fucking great to watch.
He gave some great times.
Oh, so he fucking did. Nathan said 26 errors, 15 penalties, 2 hits of ice in my veins.
That's probably the worst byproduct of the Panthers' form, is that it's given like a whole new generation of just uneducated drug addicts with access to the internet the ability to.
I'll tell you what. Did you see that one out of the NBA today?
No, I did not.
So the Warriors lost their first playoff game to Sacramento.
Right.
Who, feel good story. Had the
They're on that historic drought.
That's it.
And finally making the finals again. Yep.
So one of them dropped 40.
Right.
And this fucking fans in the audience like sign languaging at Steph Curry, like he's like 40, and then he mouths on your fucking head. Like, it was fucking great. So Matthew said was an expected Penrith win. Just the positives for the Knights is they learn that they can mix it with the top teams if they apply themselves with or without the biscuit. Also, their for and against record doesn't change that much, which may help them at the end of the season when the crunch for the top 8 occurs. Isaac said the Panthers absolutely did it. Beat the Knights 2-3. Neil, Panthers were awful. Cleary missed field goals to win the game. Panthers still won. That's a sign of a quality team. Miller is the worst player in the competition. As a Queenslander, I hope New South Wales leaves Edwards out. Matthew said Cleary's influence on a game is starting to match the same influence Lockyer used to have, seeing a lot of similarities in their game, albeit different positions. And Nathan doesn't use as much cocaine, allegedly.
Yes, he does. I mean, we. This is a factual podcast.
No.
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 I dare say that cocaine culture is more ingrained today than it was in the year 2000. I'd say supply availability and general cultural acceptance are all far in excess of what it was 25 years ago.
Which means the cocaine that Nathan Cleary's snorting now is 80% creatine because it's been stomped on by 19 dealers before it gets to Penrith. God damn. Next game.
The Brisbane Broncos 43 defeated the Gold Coast Titans 26 down there at Hope Solo Coliseum. The Broncos 43 came through tries to Ricky Farnworth, Walsh, Arthurs, Capewell, Mam and Cobbo. We had 6 conversions from 7 attempts from Adam Reynolds, a penalty goal to Reynolds, and a disrespectful field goal to Reynolds. Defeating the Titans 26 tries to Sammy Leeming with his first try for the Titans, and a double to Cam Pereira. Tanner Boyd, 4 conversions and a penalty goal.
It's a bit of a weird game. It felt like the Titans were in the game, and the Broncos scored a couple of tries against the run of play, and then just towards the end of the game just pulled away. Some touches of class from the key players like Walsh and Mam, and Reynolds pulling the strings, and Capewell had his usual solid game. But yeah, I don't know. They gave up 26 points.
Similar to the Souths game, I thought. Like in that, it was just some moments of luck. I mean, it was kicks getting taken back to the house, right? And just there was like 2 or 3 of those, and that's what turned what had up to that point been a fairly tight contest.
Yeah. I think, I was reasonably impressed with what the Titans brought. I'd probably still like to see a bit more from David Fafita, but I've been saying that for a fair while. But
3 years.
Yeah, I don't know. The Titans actually, he's getting a bit out of that roster, if I'm honest. And I think Foran is a massive, a massive influence over what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. Holbrook's had his detractors, but I think with the roster they have at the moment, he's wringing its neck. And I don't hate where the Titans are at. I hate the Titans and I hate the fans, but I don't hate where they're at right now.
I think this game puts the rest of the competition firmly on notice that the Brisbane Broncos are a fucking hard team to rein back in. If you let them get out to any sort of lead, a 12-point lead or more, that group of kids just fucking runs.
Mm.
And they're going to be a very difficult team to run back down. It's a long season, and we'll see what happens. Last year, they were the same way, and they had their dip later on.
Yeah, I don't know about the same. I think Walsh adds this whole other element.
They've got a very favourable draw the first half of this season as well. With I think like one trip out of Queensland, I think, or 2 trips out of Queensland in the first till Origin.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means that and whilst they're going to have other Queensland games that aren't necessarily home games, like this Titans game, going up to North Queensland and shit. There is going to be, the second half of the season. If they're fucking serious, the second half of the season should be a lot of away games in Sydney and whatever. I haven't had a look at it, but I only just saw the first 10 games. I was like, fuck that, one time out of the state. So when that happens, then I guess we'll see what they bring, and maybe that could be the catalyst. That if the 70% completion, 15 error, 35 missed tackle games that have eked them out wins at home, whether they can still actually magically produce wins.
I get that, but again, in the spirit of fairness, we just said that Penrith were horrid, but managed to jag a win, and that's what quality sides do. The Broncos are only able to play what's in front of them.
Yeah. And
if the team in front of you lets you beat them by 20, then fucking go, son. Do your thing. That combination with Reynolds and Capewell, that's becoming almost a guaranteed 6 points a game. Just any fucking time there's anyone out further than they should be in that line and Reynolds spots it on that side, there is a kick going through. Every single fucking time. And Capewell is ready for it. That is an excellent combo, and clubs will have to prepare for that. That's something you need to fucking watch for. The Titans, well, what the fuck do you say? Absolute fucking rabble.
Yep, fuck them.
Atta boys.
Go well, Foz, but. Yeah,
look, and you know what? Fuck them so much. I don't even have socials for that game, so who gives a fuck? Let's go.
Well, the match of the round, the Raiders 20 beat the St. George Illawarra Dragons 14 down in Canberra. The Raiders 20 tries to Chris Timoko and Hudson Young. One of the greatest fucking tries of all time to Hudson Young, I have to say. 3 conversions to old Teary Eyes and a penalty goal. The Dragons 14, a double, a Tautau Monga. The motherfucker scored like a length of the field intercept try as well. I didn't think the old knees had it in him. And Finai with the other one. Lomax missed all his conversions and got a penalty goal. This was a fucking tough watch in the first half.
Yeah,
an absolute highlight-free first half, pretty much. And I wouldn't say, and you could say the defense ruled the day, because teams did have periods with the ball where they were applying pressure, but none of them were holding the fucking ball long enough to really do much of anything. And the Dragons actually looked fairly good. I mean, getting the try just before half time, and they look like, they're kind of in the box seat, but fucking some strange tries in this one. And that Hudson Young try that ultimately sealed the game for the Raiders.
He showed some pace.
It's one of the strangest fucking tries I've ever seen. I mean, that is a strange try. Just the coordination, first the skill from him to get his hands on the ball while making the tackle. That's tick 1.
Yep.
Tick 2, the obedience and coordination of the other 2 guys that were in the tackle to drop off at the exact right moment while he reefed it out.
Yep.
Then 3, when he reefed it out, he landed on the ground. Then he gets back up and starts running from a dead... Like, you can't get a more standing start than being on the fucking ground.
And then not standing at all.
And then 20 metres out, burns off everybody to fucking score the try. It was unreal.
That was nuts, yeah.
I mean, I love this for him. I'd love to watch that more than him fucking trying to gouge a cunt's eyes out. I mean, hasn't he come a long way?
Good on the young fella. Second one,
just to bring it
learning
back
and growing. I'm all for self-improvement.
Like earlier this show, we've been talking about fucking Radley and what a dumb, ignorant cunt he is that refuses to learn how to better his game.
Yep.
When you had a guy that was a fucking borderline sociopath on the field.
he was getting some of the best suspensions for eye gouging that we've seen in the fucking modern game. He was in there. He was getting in there.
Turned himself into a decent member of society.
Like he was Glennie. He locked the chick in the car and he was trying to fucking jump straight to fucking third base. Nothing but just fingers fucking probing Glennie.
Wow. How did we get here? I did have a couple of notes about this game, but I don't really want to read them out now. Thanks.
Oh, did I steal your thunder with that?
No, not at all. There was nothing funny. I was just... look, I think it's the second week in a row where the Dragons were right in a game until the end. And albeit they didn't get the result, why is it exactly that they're so keen to sack their coach? They're still in games. Their attack is actually, in parts, in that second half, looked like it was clicking into gear. They got one of the best halfbacks who's come out and said, he doesn't want the coach to be sacked. What do you get out of him if they then go and punt the bloke?
Some of those young players they've been wanting to see in the first grade side for years are starting to really, perform. Yeah. You got old mate, you got old fucking Tauntaun fucking who's been playing for 100 years, of which he's had 99.9 years out with fucking ACLs and shit. It's running length of the field and striding out and looking good. Yeah. I saw a lot of comments on Twitter when this game, towards the end of this game, to be fair, with people saying the players don't care. You got to sack Hook right now.
Wow.
The players don't care. I'm like, as a neutral, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
From the game.
Yeah, look, you want to see a team where the players don't care? Fucking tune in this week.
You got better than average chance of jacking your first week, bloody, believe me. Who fucking knows what'll happen?
But yeah, and I think this is an important win for the Raiders, backing up their performance against the Broncos, and as their season progresses, I think there's still a hell of a lot of room for improvement in the Raiders. But that's a solid win when, again, team that's probably not at their best and probably haven't quite found themselves over the course of the season so far to squeeze out a win. It's an important 2 points for them.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yep. Oh, also, absolute fucking shock from Jack Whiten. And we joke about the fact that he does the short kicks and they go dead. He kicked one from like halfway that rolled dead. Like, oh my God, man.
Devonhead.
1.2 million or 1.1 million, whatever the fuck Canberra is talking about.
But they're going to give it to him. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him. Definitely. Unless the West Tigers can come in there and trump him with like 1.3 or something. Which isn't out of the question.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll make that offer. I don't think he'll take it.
I mean, it seems pretty clear that it's about the money and not about winning. If he stays with Canberra for 1.1 million, then it's not about winning, is it? It's about getting a healthy bump.
Yeah, fucking oath. Devonhead, he said the Dragons are about as useful as a Tigers supporting Counting Crows loving podcast host.
He's fucking
extremely useful, then. That's what a compliment. It's beautiful.
Now,
it's the nicest thing he's ever said.
You were talking before about the vibe of Dragons fans and how they feel about Ben Hunt and the coach. Dean is about to let you know. You know what, Hunt? You can go fuck yourself. Fuck off with your racist coach. Wah, I don't want another coach. You fucking stupid cunt. You will never win a premiership because you literally dropped it, you stupid fucking cunt. Wah, we should keep Griffin. He's good. I'm going to do a hit up on the last play of the game to prove it. Fuck you.
Hang on, that isn't. He did make one good point at the end there.
That last option.
Last play of the game, they've only got one play, maybe two if it was a quick play of the ball, but essentially one play. They just had the opposition player sent to the sin bin, so they were 13 on 12.
You keep the ball moving.
You just keep the ball moving and try and find a gap and try and score a point, and wherever the fucking try goes over, just hopefully you can kick the goal at the end of it. What you don't do is throw a fucking crash ball to fucking Kerr, who is, like, in a team of plotters, is the alpha fucking plod. This is a guy who's never fucking bent or broken the line in the history of his career, and you entrusted him to do both and just get the ball down for a try.
Yeah, that's
to win, to fucking give you the opportunity to tie the game. Yeah, that was fucked. I will give you that. The rest of it, though, a little bit harsh, for being fair.
I just think that goes to show they hate Hook more than they love Hunt.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So nice.
Going back to 2015 on him too. Fucking hell. Okay, so is that it for the socials on that one?
That's us for the
Okay,
socials.
last game, the Eels 30 defeated the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs 4. I can't remember what Benny wanted me to call the stadium. What does he call it?
The sperm donor.
The sperm donor. Yeah, that's right. Comebank. That's it. The Eels 30. Their tries came through.
We've had fucking petitions on this, okay? The cunt drafted letters, and he got the fucking student union that he's in charge of to stage a peaceful protest until we said it. So,
right.
There you go.
So the Eels tries
teachers, man.
Penasini, Moses, and RCG with tries, a double to Micah Sivo. Moses, 4 conversions and a penalty goal. The Doggies 4 came through a solitary try to Paul Alamotti, and I think it was his first try in the NRL, and Birdo missed that conversion. This was a strange game, this one, because, I mean, obviously you look at the scoreboard and you go, yeah, the Bulldogs got fucked on. But the first 20 minutes of each half were actually very well contested. You know, and if not favourable to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, but I think the fact that the second 20 minutes of each half, they fell away. I think it speaks to, you know, the toll that the injuries and you know, without Fox there, and I made the joke last week that that's, you know, 50% of their attacking potency, and it's not far off. Unfortunately, the only other guy that, you know, Kiraz has shown a bit of go about him, and, you know, he's hurt. Kikau's out, so you got nothing on the edge. Yeah, I don't
really want to give him the injury fucking.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
get
can't
out of jail free card
really,
because they were falling away in the second halves all season anyway before this you know, alleged injury crisis hit them.
Yeah,
fair, but you can't deny that
even
there's some key guys out.
Remember the fucking Tigers?
I remember it well, mate. I remember it well.
It's what they do.
I just feel like they've had 30 points. They've mustered a single solitary fucking try. They don't have the points in them, and you know, with those injuries means that there's a lot more plot element to what the Bulldogs are doing.
Do you remember this game pretty well, Glennie? I just want to ask you something about something that happened in it. The fucking that first try that Sivo scored.
Yeah. And
like Perham at fullback was right there, and he just sort of, instead of trying to make a tackle or get under him to stop him scoring, he just sort of jogged off and just sort of turned away before he'd actually fallen over the line and everything.
He's had a bit of a Lockie Miller.
Yeah, instead of trying to hit him in like cover, drop the ball free, slide, get under it, like something. When I saw that, I was just like, that guy is fucked. That's like drop him territory. You know, straight away.
Yep.
Look, as I said, not the first time we've seen, you know, behaviour like that this season, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I think Para, their attack looked a little bit more polished at times than it has in large part this year, and you know they handled the Dogs relatively easily. But I don't even know that I was super impressed with Para, given what was in front of them.
Yeah, I think like that was it Cartwright, that offload for Penasini's try. I mean, that was fucking great. That was great footy, but crashboard RCG, and pass it to Sivo because they weren't clearly interested in
couple for Sivo and you know, and Moses gets a run away.
Yeah, I'm loath to give too much credit to Parramatta. I mean,
fuck Para and fuck the Bulldogs too, and all their fans.
Well, that's I mean, the one positive for the Bulldogs is they got heaps of fucking cap space left, and they can spend up for next year.
Yeah, on more Penrith players.
That's why we bought Tyrone Peachy. Just to give him away.
So he can go to the Dogs.
The Trojan Peach.
There's your episode title.
Absolutely brilliant. Penrith's out here playing fucking chess and everyone else is playing checkers.
I love it.
All right,
Joshua
social.
said the Tigers game was a better spectacle. 0 out of 10. Wouldn't watch again. Nick had the 13 plus and Micah double and penis try. Guth, Paul, Brown could have had the decency to go and to have a go and score. Now it's back to sucking dicks beneath the boulevard. Well, what are you really about to lose?
Yeah, what are you really? Yeah. What are you really gambling with? I mean,
Do you know-
your fucking your throat clearly, but
Do you know who the saddest cunt on Australian television is right now?
Blocker.
Laurie Daly.
Oh,
No.
why
Blocker
Laurie?
doesn't
That
know.
what? Okay.
Blocker is fucking blissfully ignorant, and he just goes out there, loves his fucking life.
Yep.
Like, he is happy as shit. If someone came to me and said, would you like to trade places with Steve Roach? Yes. A fucking heartbeat. He is the happiest cunt in the world. Right?
Get to the odd lows ad.
That's it. Laurie Daly, you can see him. He's like, I was the fucking New South Wales State of Origin coach. And now, his sole fucking job is to give tips, like betting tips, sponsored by a gambling company, on the Matty Johns fucking post-game show.
Yeah,
That
he's
is
not
his-
even a Joel Kane. He's like a like a lesser Joel Kane.
But they don't even... you can see... He's just begging for them to actually talk to them about footy. Like,
Yeah.
he wants them to ask his opinion on an actual fucking issue or topic or anything, and all they want to know is, what's Laurie's fucking mystery multi this week?
Yeah, your mandate is on the point start, pal. You had your chance to talk about footy.
And you can hear him, like, because now he has to give those fucking warnings. You know, the shit that pops up now after the ads. He has to verbally say all of that shit.
Yep. Disclaimer, man.
That's it. And it is the most soul-crushing 10 seconds that you have ever fucking seen. This man, like, I was the New South Wales Origin coach, and now I am reading disclaimers to degenerates. It's,
That these cunts are not going to listen to. Let's be real.
That's it. Lovely.
Sad.
Yes, and Tim, he said there's a reason this was the junk time game, because it was junk. There you go.
It
We're
was.
through. We are.
Yeah, we are.
through.
I'll tell you what. I want to hit you guys with a little fucking pop quiz. I had this sent through to me just before we started recording from League Eye Test, and it's basically a chart with the percentage of minutes played by the teams, with the scores being even, with them leading, with them trailing. Okay.
Yeah.
So the NRL average is 41% trailing, 41% leading, and 18% even across the competition. Who is the team that has been trailing the most time? And how much time do you reckon, percentage?
West Tigers, 70%.
What do you reckon, Stepdad?
Have they been in front?
I think it's fair to say, to paraphrase the great man, that this season the West Tigers have not always been in a fucking game.
So I reckon it's over 90.
You're fucking close. 89.2% trailing
There you go.
Tigers. I don't know what... we have to do the math because the leading part is so small, there's not enough room to put the percentage in. And then 8.8% even.
And that's
so,
well, I didn't take that into account.
2% leading, 2% leading.
But again, like, all of that time is the beginning of games when it has to be fucking even.
yeah.
It's not even like they've got themselves back to even.
I was shocked and stunned to see the team that has been trailing for the least percentage of games this season.
Who's that?
Seabs Eagles, 26.7%. Leading, 49.4%. Even, 24%. Cronulla, right up there. I mean, there's a little bit... the percentages are pretty good for the... what you would expect the top 8, right? Yeah. Broncos are quite... they're quite middle of the pack. They're 35.9%. And then leading for 49.1%. So the Broncos' percentage of leading is actually quite high. But they've also had to come back and...
Again, all we're talking about here is at what time in the game do they score their first try? And there are some teams that get in there every week and
score, yeah.
put
That's
points on
probably
quickly.
that's at 2% for the West Tigers. Which game do they score straight away?
There's only one team that does not score their first try.
So who do you reckon, who's second? Okay, so the West Tigers have been trailing for 89.2% of their total game time through round 7.
the Cowboys should be next.
Close. They're third
okay,
worst.
yeah.
They're 48.4, but a big jump, 60.9. The Warriors.
Yeah, wow.
Because remember, there was a large chunk of that Cronulla game, so that's probably 60 minutes they accumulated on one game alone there.
But they were behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating stuff, hey?
Interesting, love it. Yep. But that is
I do fucking love that no one's safe at 2 tries anymore.
Yeah.
It's back to that, and those were the games that I fucking loved. Because for a little while there, it was someone would get out to a 2-try lead, and it was, okay, yeah, cool. You'll either defend yourself all the way home with that, or they'll get close and then they'll fuck up and you'll score another one. It's no one.
Yeah, but then we're also getting those games like we've seen, like the number of golden point games, and like before Manly scored the last try, it was like 12-8 for a massive amount of time in the game. Like where it's actually teams are defending, like close games are staying fucking close for long periods of time as well, which is probably why there's this. Like I haven't done the in-depth looking into the figures and all that sort of thing, but like just anecdotally, just like the vibe, it definitely feels like it's just a really competitive, close sort of season. So may it hold up, and may we not get any last second rule changes. It's like these fucking 18-8 games are too boring. Fucking we need to unleash the little man. Let's change it to 7 tackles. But that is it for episode 511. Thanks for listening. As always, thisweekinleague.com/links to get onto all of our socials, tipping, comp, Patreon, and more. And I'll tell you, with the regards to the printing issues we mentioned last time, shout out to whoever from the place listens to the podcast. That was addressed the afternoon of the day after the last episode. So I'm happy again. So thank you, and we'll be remitting you payment shortly.
Can we? Anyone else got any issues that want us to fucking fix?
Yeah.
Not happy.
If you've got a
not
problem,
happy with something?
Yo will solve it. And as a result of that being solved as well, that means that if I get the chance over the next couple of days, I'll put hoodies up and things like that. It's different colorways and stuff, and I'll be hitting up you guys if there's any other specific colorways that we should offer this time around, just to be different. And on that note, I'll talk to you boys on Wednesday.
Done.
Let's fucking do it. Well done.